Hello and welcome to the Insights and Motivation YouTube podcast. Yes, this is an AI-generated content, but remember, there was a human at the beginning of it, creating and curating this material with care and purpose. I request you, dear listener, to step aside from any bias and listen to the message itself. Take the message, not the messenger. That is the key. The same is true for the rest of the playlists and podcasts on this channel, each designed to inspire thought, dialogue, and transformation. Now, let me begin the podcast. Equality and inclusivity in schools. In any democratic society, the principle of equality is non-negotiable. Yet when we step inside the walls of many schools, we often find an environment where equality exists in theory, but not in practice. The louder voices, the faster learners, and the more confident personalities dominate the classroom stage, while others fade into silence. A democratic classroom, however, flips this hierarchy. It insists that every student's voice carries weight, and that participation is not a privilege, but a right. Why is this necessary? Because education, at its core, is not just the delivery of information, but the shaping of human potential. When schools actively nurture inclusivity, they do more than teach. They empower. A child who feels heard and respected develops a sense of self-worth that no textbook alone can provide. Without inclusivity, learning becomes mechanical. With it, learning becomes transformational. The advantages of embedding equality and inclusivity are far-reaching. An inclusive classroom reduces bullying because the culture shifts from competition to collaboration. It raises overall engagement because students no longer fear being ridiculed for speaking up. It sparks creativity because the quiet observer, the shy thinker, and the unconventional learner are finally given the space to contribute. This is how democratic principles breathe life into education, by giving every learner the courage to step forward. Now let us contrast this with the reality of many current systems. Too often, schools reward only the top scorers or the naturally outspoken. Students who learn differently, who struggle with pace, or who express themselves in unique ways are sidelined. The system unintentionally communicates that their contributions are less valuable, and so many children internalize a dangerous message, that they are invisible, that they are less capable, and that their voices are not worth raising. The consequences of ignoring inclusivity are already visible in our society. We see young adults who excel at exams but falter at empathy. We see professionals who are technically skilled but unable to collaborate or respect differing opinions. We see individuals who carry the scars of childhood invisibility into adulthood, hesitant to speak up, fearful of judgment, and disconnected from the communities around them. The roots of these patterns often trace back to classrooms that failed to be inclusive. Equally important is the question of equity. Inclusivity does not mean treating everyone the same. It means providing the support each child needs to thrive. A democratic classroom recognizes differences in background, ability, and personality, and adapts to ensure that no one is left behind. This is not charity, it is justice in action. When equity is embedded, schools do not merely produce students, they produce citizens who understand fairness at a visceral level. Let us be honest, inclusivity requires courage. It requires teachers to relinquish some control, to listen as much as they speak, and to allow students to help shape the classroom environment. It requires administrators to create systems where student councils and forums have genuine influence, not token presence. It requires society to recognize that education is not about sorting children into winners and losers, but about lifting every child to the fullness of their potential. If schools continue to ignore equality and inclusivity, the cost will be high. Disengagement will rise, anxiety will deepen, and the gap between the confident few and the silenced majority will widen. But if schools embrace these principles, the rewards will ripple outward. Students will leave not only with knowledge, but with dignity, resilience, and the capacity to participate in democratic life. They will carry into adulthood the unshakable belief that their voice matters, and that everyone else's does too. The classroom, then, is not just a place of instruction, it is a seedbed of society. If we democratize it with equality and inclusivity, we do more than teach algebra or literature. We teach empathy, justice, and respect. We prepare young people not only to pass exams, but to lead communities, to bridge divides, and to imagine a more humane world. And that, dear listener, is perhaps the highest calling of education. Did this podcast resonate with you? Are you an educator or a higher authority with the ability to influence educational policy and reform? If so, I encourage you to share this podcast as widely as possible within your connections, and do share and subscribe to this channel. This channel has lots of playlists and educational psychological content, with a focus on how to improve all systems of education, corporate culture, and many such topics. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for our next podcast.